Hello everyone. My name is Trey Smith, and today in my midterm project, I'll be discussing the evolution of African American music through the emergence of jazz. Alright, to begin with, we're going to start with the origins of African American music. It was estimated to have begun creation around 3000 BC, although the number isn't exactly precise, and it's not clear as to exactly why it started. But some reasons were for expressing emotions, expressing cultures, expressing yourself, and it was also a very spiritual thing. It was mainly composed of percussion, like drums, claps, sticks, bongos, and things of that nature. Though I mentioned previously that it was mostly created for spiritual, emotional, and expressive reasons, African American music actually ended up flourishing due to slavery, and it kind of ties back into what I already said, but that is where a lot of the expression came from. I myself sometimes feel like I have a hard time expressing myself to my peers, but imagine being literally enslaved and you cannot talk to anybody but the people around you to try and grieve and get out your pain. Rolling into around the 1920s, this is where the emergence of jazz came from, which is what I'm mainly talking about here. It came from the ancestral form of African American music, and the styles ended up being influenced by European styles, after slavery was abolished and all of that. It consists mainly of brass and piano, and it also had a new style of singing, which was much more poetic and lyricism focused. So people really talked about new things. It wasn't just pain being a slave. It was things like, love and stuff like that. As I had said before, it was mostly focused on brass. It offered a new kind of instrument to come into play, which was something that opened up room for a lot more creativity and differences. Some people that influenced jazz consisted of main one, Louis Armstrong. Something that he offered to the genre was his excellent brass skills, and to be more specific, he had a unique trumpet style, which, as I had mentioned before, was something that wasn't in the ancestral form of music. He also had a unique vocal style that varied from his peers that also made jazz music, and his lyricism was just more emotional, more focused on life and love. Another very important figure in the jazz world that helped to influence the genre was Ella Fitzgerald, who was married to Louis Armstrong. She started making music around 1936, and I think Louis started making it around 1923. Ella is a very important figure in this world because she's a woman, for starters, and this is, black women are finally getting rights and expressing themselves, and she mainly focused on making songs based around love and just using her voice. That was a big factor for her. To kind of tie this into our modern day world, since I am talking about the evolution through the emergence of jazz, as you can see, the artist on the screen is B.B. King, which is somebody my dad used to listen to a lot, who then became someone I listened to a good amount. Although he's not one of my favorite artists or anything, I do think he's great. I forgot to mention that the guitar was a new instrument that became extremely popular. And for an example in our modern day world of how jazz has influenced me, I like to make beats. I like to make soul beats, like samples and stuff. So I've sampled a B.B. King song and songs from other artists with beautiful jazz music and flipped it into something new. To kind of tie all ends together and, string up the loop, the emergence of jazz helped people to express their emotions in various amounts of ways. However you were feeling, you could talk about that and sing it and really just express how you felt. It offered new instruments that was very different from the past, of just percussion mostly. And now you're singing, you got guitars, brass, pianos, like amazing vocal artists, amazing instrumentalists who could play. You're storytelling in just a new form, and it's just absolutely all thanks to one, it's crazy to say, but slavery, because they eventually came over here and the European styles influenced it. But the biggest thanks after that goes to the pioneers who transformed the music, and as I mentioned, just a couple of them, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, just did an amazing thing, helping people feel like they could express themselves through their voices, and then Louis, just an excellent instrumentalist, changing the game completely. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a lovely rest of your day.